What up, though? And welcome to Let's Talk Detroit Lions Talk, brought to you by Detroit Lions on the Prowl and Lions Nation Unite. It's your man, Curt Steele. Today is Wednesday, April 13th, 2022. On deck for the day's show, we know we give you that latest and greatest Detroit Lions news and rumors. Today, we look at the top wide receiver draft prospects for the draft for the Lions. You know, because it's still a need for the team. We recap a top 30 visit by a premier pass rusher that happened earlier in the week. And Coach Jones asked, what happens if the Detroit Lions do not draft a quarterback this year? But before we get into all that news and rumors, that tasty morsels in the main topic and other meals in this Lunchtime Detroit Lions Talk, I got to bring in the rest of the crew. Y'all know him, man. Y'all see him, man. He is the ladies' chocolatey goodness himself. Look at that big old milk dud. My man, LL Cool Tones. What's up, my dude?
Shout out to my homegirl, Cheyenne. She used to call me that, but in a stupid way. What's up, y'all? Good morning, Prowl Nation.
And y'all see him down at the bottom of the screen, man. Y'all know who he is. You can't see his shirt, but you know what he does. He wears Will Harris pajamas to bed. It's my man, Coach.
Oh, hell no. Coach Jones. Who is Coach Mike Jones? What's going on, Lion fan?
Let's get this thing started.
Right now.
Let go.
It's Detroit Lions Talk, baby.
We're going to get up, and on the way up, we're going to bite a kneecap off.
Yes, sir. We in the deep. Welcome back to the show, people. Now we're going to talk about these top wide receiver draft prospects, targets for the Lions, because, you know, we need one of those guys somewhere in this draft. What you got, LL?
So, just like you just said, Curt, we're going to take a quick peek at some of the wide receiver prospects that could still be around for us at 32 or 34 or wherever at in this draft. So first up from the national champion, Georgia Bulldogs, shout out to, South Georgia. We got George Pickens, coming off of a knee injury, I believe. Came back and played pretty well in their in the little tournament and then in the national championship game. But he goes, or his measurables are 6'3", 195 pounds. He ran a 4.47 at the combine. All of his measurables are pretty darn good. His RAS score is a 9.37, and that's out of 10. So that's pretty good. I would say. Big body receiver, down the field threat, goes up and gets it. He's not unlike a couple of the other prospects, but he'll probably be around for us at one of those later picks. Another one of the prospects that we have here is Treylon Burks out of University of Arkansas. He's known as probably the after the catch threat, much better runner, bigger body receiver. His measurables go 6'2", 225. He ran a 4.5 at the combine. All of his numbers are pretty decent. Some of his speed numbers and agility numbers aren't as good as some of the other guys, but his tape really stands out. At least for me, I know I hear a lot of the negatives about him whenever they're speaking about him as a prospect. But if you just watch his tape, he is I would say, a pretty damn good prospect. And last for today's show, our wide receiver prospects that we may be able to snag in this draft early on, rather, is Christian Watson out of North Dakota State University. Christian Watson goes 6'4", 208 pounds, or is that 6 foot? Almost.
Yeah.
I don't. Okay.
6'4".
Well, 6'4", 208 pounds. Ran a 4.3 at the combine. All of his speed numbers are pretty much elite. His RAS score, and I forgot to give the RAS score for Treylon Burks, so my apologies, but the RAS score for Mr. Christian Watson is a 9.96, with 9.96. So, just a touch higher than George Pickens. Not too familiar with Christian Watson. Check him out though. His tape is pretty darn good. He can do it all. He's pretty speedy. He goes up and gets it, and he can run a little bit after the catch. So these are some of the guys that we do have, or that could be available, that the Lions could target, because we do need maybe a wide receiver or another wide receiver to add to our core that we have now. So I guess, what do you guys think about these prospects?
Looking at these guys, Pickens could be there just because of the injury issue. Came back and played. His stock dropped a little bit because of that injury issue, because he didn't have a big productive year at Georgia, but he did produce, like you said, in the SEC tournament, and then in the college football playoffs when he needed it. Georgia was a team that had a lot of depth at all positions on both sides of the ball. So you look at it where they kind of rotated guys in and out on both sides of the ball. But I think that he has the ability to put up good numbers in the NFL. Treylon Burks, for me, is an interesting prospect because there's a player that if you use him correctly, you may be able to turn him into somebody like a Deebo Samuel. He has that, size where he can, run over people. And you look at that's becoming a weapon in the NFL. Looking at a player like Cordell Patterson, if they would have used him right his whole career, he would have been a Deebo Samuel type his whole career, playing running back, and wide receiver. So I think you can do that with a Treylon Burks. Kristen Watson is a do-all guy. Didn't get a lot of pub because of the fact he played at a smaller school, but he bet on himself and went to a smaller school. The guy can fly. He can run the whole route tree. I would be interested to see what the coaching staff could do with either one of these guys. I think Randall L. can definitely change one of these guys into a really, really good weapon in the NFL, looking at the coaching staff. But either one of these guys, I wouldn't be mad at either one of these guys coming to the Lions.
Right on. I would hope that Pickens could slide to the back of the third, early fourth round, just because of injury concerns and things like that. If he didn't, it just depends on how high you would have to take him. There's always that risk and that worry of is he fully healthy? Is he, you know what I'm saying? So I would kind of dismiss that a little bit, knowing the injury history here in the Detroit Lions. We're not for that, man. We're not for none of that. But Burks, on the other hand, is a very interesting prospect. I personally don't know if he'll be there in the second round. It's kind of up for grabs. If he's there at pick 34, I might look at taking Burks. He's a talented receiver. He can play inside, outside. He can be that, like you said, Curt, that Deebo Samuel type of guy. And I'm very interested to see what we do if he's there at 34. I don't know too much about Watson. His RAS score is through the roof, so which means he got something. I mean, he's doing something right. I'm gonna leave it to Brad Holmes and John Dorsey, and Ray Agnew to just basically, and Chris Spielman to basically, do their thing, man, and put these guys in the places where they need to be.
Yeah.
Right. And go ahead.
I was just looking at these guys. I mean, it's one of those like you say, kind of you can pick up one of these guys. The only thing that really kind of looking at this situation in the draft is that there's a lot of teams right now that need receivers because of the fact that their top receivers have left their squads. So you look at, there's going to be a run of wide receivers in that first round because of the fact you look at Green Bay. What receivers are, they got 2 picks in that later part of the first round. They don't have any receivers in the room right now. I mean, you have St. Brown left. He's in Chicago. We already know Devontae Adams is out in Las Vegas. And then you have Marquez Vantel Scantling. He's out in Kansas City. So there's not that wide receiver room in Green Bay is empty. And they're going to have to do something they haven't done in a long time is draft a wide receiver. So, I mean, you look at the Kansas City Chiefs needs wide receivers. So there's a lot of teams now, because of the fact that you have the great exodus of wide receivers that are going to need some of those guys at the end of the first round. So that's maybe my hesitation on some of these guys because they might not be there because there may be a run wide receiver coming at the end of the first round. Excuse you. Bless you. God bless you there, Gail.
Thank you.
Okay, what you got there? What you had to say? I'm sorry, I didn't cut you off.
No, you good. You good. You good. I was just gonna say, out of the three, I think that to go with what Coach Mike said, the one that might slide, I think it may be Treylon Burks. That he might be the one that slides the furthest, and he might be the one that we can get later on, maybe if we trade back into the second at the top of that, the very, very, very top of the third, if it goes that way. But
Yeah.
of course, if you like this content, share it, send it to your homies and your homies. Make sure that all the Lions fans, just like yourself, get a load of this content. This is some pretty good content, wouldn't you say? Go ahead and let everybody else know. Tell everybody what you've been watching on your lunch break. What do we got? What do we have for the family discussion topic today, Curt?
All right, for the family discussion topic for today is which one of these guys would you draft with the opportunity in the draft? So which guys? You got Treylon Burks, you got my man Christian Watson, and you got George Pickens out of Georgia. So let us know in the comments down below which one of these guys would you draft with the opportunity if one of these guys fell to the Lions in the upcoming draft. And don't forget to go out and play our social media game right now. Val has it out there where we're asking you, we're playing that game, the death game with the like celebrity death match on these guys in the draft. You know what I'm saying? It's one or the other. Go out there and check it out. It's on our Twitter feed. It's on our YouTube channel. Go over there and check those things out, man. And we'll be having the Prowl Nation mock draft on the Free for All Friday right before the draft. That's April 22nd. So the Prowl Nation mock draft will be next Friday. So man, go ahead and get that thing going, man. We're gonna have some fun with that. So make sure you get your votes in over there on our other social media platforms. All right. So for me, my newsroom topic for today is, man, guess what? We had a top tiered pass rusher come to visit the Lions on Monday. So according to reports, the Lions hosted a player believed to be one of the top defensive ends prospects in this draft, Florida State's Jermaine Johnson II. Think about this. Johnson was on the Georgia defense a couple of years ago. He was a rotational piece. He transferred to Florida State and made a name for himself last year. He had some outstanding stats. 70 tackles last season, which includes 18 for loss with 12 sacks. At 6'4", 250 pounds, Johnson is a freakish athlete that runs a 4.5 40 with an explosive 1.5 second 10-yard split. What does that mean? That means he gets to the quarterback in the blink of an eye. Johnson is making the rounds this week, visiting various teams, but his first stop was in the Motor City. He's a prime candidate for the Lions if they trade back in the first round. Man, this guy is one of those dudes where he is a plug and play guy. You don't have to really, coach this dude up. You can put him on the field and let him go. Think about how good that Georgia defense was, where he can go and transfer and have those numbers. You look at Treylon, Trayvon Walker, with all those guys on that defense. Trayvon Walker, but he was on that defense. And look how good he was when he left the defense. So, man, think about how stacked that defense was with him on that defense as well. So, I mean, you can put those numbers up against any of those pass rushers that we got at the top of the draft. Kayvon Thibodeau, Aiden Hutchinson. I mean, he had just as many sacks and tackles for loss and overall tackles throughout the season. So Jermaine Johnson is one of those guys that can be an impact player for the Lions. I don't think they're going to take him at number 2, but if we trade back and slide back a couple of spots, I think he's one of those guys that we can say, hey, man, we can pluck him out. He fits right in the system. Put a couple pounds on him, though. The 254 is a little light for me. I like him to be probably around 265. That's just me. I like my defensive ends around 265. So, you know what I'm saying? You're a tweener. You ain't too big to be, you know what I'm saying? You ain't huge, but you got a little weight on you because them offensive tackles are huge in the NFL. So what do you guys think about Jermaine Johnson the second?
Man, Jermaine Johnson is a very interesting prospect. He has a very good closing speed. I noticed that guys, the quarterbacks, they see him and then he's there. That's one thing that Jermaine Johnson has. When he comes off that edge, you'll see him, and then you blink of an eye, he got you. You know what I'm saying? So I like that. I like that explosion that he has at the very end of his the very end of his getting to the quarterback, because a lot of guys have an explosive takeoff. You know what I'm saying? Their takeoff is explosive, but his explosion comes at the end and his closing. And I think that's a very, very pivotal and important piece. He has a good takeoff too. He's very athletic, but his closing is probably right up there with Thibodeau and his closing speed. So I like it, man. Jermaine Johnson. Hey, if we do that trade back with the Eagles or something like that, man, or whatever scenarios that we see out there, man, Jermaine Johnson, man, I take it.
From pretty much to piggyback on what both of you guys just said, this is the guy. Players like him is the reason why I don't really mind trading back. Because if we were to, let's say, trade back and still get a player like Kyle Hamilton early, with an earlier pick, and then with a mid-round pick with somebody like this, because I don't think that the gap between a player like Jermaine Johnson and Thibodeau or Trayvon Walker or even Aiden Hutchinson is that big. But I do believe that the gap between a player like Kyle Hamilton and the rest of his position is a little bit bigger. So once again, players like Jermaine Johnson is the reason why I don't necessarily mind trading back. And I want the Lions to target him in some kind of way. If we can get him, I would like that. I like everybody. I got commitment issues. Y'all know that, but I really like Jermaine Johnson.
Yeah, that's why the ladies love you, man. They ain't got to, you know what I'm saying? They ain't got to,
That's not true. That's not true at all. That's not true at all.
Okay. If you want to see us on more social media platforms, hang out with the crew over your favorite, we go Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, follow the crew, get the graphics on the screen right now, man, and just hang out with us. If you want to see us in a different light, or you want to hang out with some more of your favorite Detroit Lions content creators, go to Lions Nation Unite, man. You can watch our show, their show, any show you want to watch from those contributors right there in the app, because they post them right there. If you want to hang out with your man, Mike who be doing some craziness, but he has some great content. Go over there, check him out. Dose of Dion, Rad, Let's Talk Lions. All those guys are over there in the Lions Nation Unite app. And just hang out with us over there and those guys as well. If you want to get yourself some Lions gear, still got some sales going on. If you want to get yourself some regular, just some other gear, you know what I'm saying? Like the Michigan cap right here, I got, and all these other Lions hat I got right here. Go over to fanatics.com and get yourself some gear, man. The link is in the description below. And a small portion of the proceeds from that link go to help us go to content on this channel, man. Now it is time for the man, the myth, the legend, man. He is Will Harris's play cousin. My man, who?
That's a good one.
Man, this all right, man. This guy right here. No, shout out to Will Harris, man. Hey, I got you.
There
man.
you go.
I got you, man. Hey, they ain't gonna just keep playing you like that, bro. But the one thing that I really wanna pull attention to is the fact that the Lions don't draft a quarterback in this year's draft, which a lot of people, a lot of fans, I would say, are like, we can wait to draft a quarterback, and which I do think so, is a possibility. But there are a lot of mock drafts right now, and this is excluding Woodward Sports, excluding like your local analysts. This is from the NFL Network, ESPN, and CBS. I have counted as many as 6 mock drafts that have Detroit Lions taking a quarterback at 32. And 3 of those, your favorites, LL, 3 of those got Desmond Ritter going 32 to the Lions.
He ain't my play cousin.
I know. two of them got Matt Corral, and then one still got fucking Sam Howell. I don't know how. But the thing is about that is people don't realize is if we don't draft a quarterback this year, Jared Goff is going to be our quarterback until 2025.
Not true.
I believe so, because that means that we draft a quarterback 2023, right? In 2024 is kind of his seeing what he is. And I'm gonna tell you like this. For when you build a team, a $30 million quarterback is not how you build a team, especially a $30 million quarterback that a lot of people think that is average. Okay, Jared Goff in the next 3 years is a 3-year, 93 point something million dollar contract. That's not how you build a franchise. You cannot build a franchise and a whole roster with a guy with a 3-year, 93 plus million dollar contract. It just don't happen. So they either believe Jared Goff is that guy, or they will draft a quarterback in this year's draft. Despite, some people, a lot of us fans, a lot of local people don't want the Lions to draft a quarterback. A lot of the experts, per se, a lot of the analysts on the big time networks want the Lions to draft a quarterback at 32. I'm just not in favor of paying Jared Goff this year or next year, because this year, if we don't pay him, that's a $41.5 million cap hit. I ain't doing that. Dead cap. I'm not doing that. But Jared Goff in 2023 is set to make $30,650,000. And in 2024, he's set to make $31,650,000. I'm just, man, I'm just not in that mood, man, to be paying the average Joe that much money, man, to be. I mean, because if that was the factor, we could have kept Stafford. You know what I'm saying? We could have kept Matt Stafford for those numbers. And a lot of us wanted to move on from Stafford, and basically getting a lesser quarterback at a higher price is not how you build a roster. So I do kind of see us taking a quarterback at 32. I know like that's might not be popular fan opinion, but the evidence is the proof in the pudding. We're taking a quarterback this year, or we're paying this guy 3 years, $93 million, and that's just not how you build a franchise. You can, but is he the quarterback that you want to pay that money to? I don't think so. I wouldn't pay that. I wouldn't pay Jared Goff no $93 million over no 3 years. So what do y'all think about that situation? It's kind of fragile, man.
Lions aren't taking a quarterback this year. They've already made their intentions clear that they're not going to take a quarterback this year. They may be looking at next year, and with the extra first round pick, they have the ammunition to trade up for a quarterback if they want in next year's draft. I just think that this year's draft class is not the most talented group pool for quarterbacks coming out in this draft. I think with the re-signing of Tim Boyle and David Blau, I just think that they're looking at these guys. They're saying none of these guys are going to beat out Jared Goff to be the starter. And why would you put a guy that's not going to be your long-term successor behind a guy who's just average? They're not going to learn anything sitting behind a Jared Goff. That's just my opinion. Is Jared Goff average? He's in the middle of the pack. With the right team around him, can he play above average? Yes, because we've seen it. Yeah. He's been to a Pro Bowl. He's got his team to the playoffs multiple times. He's been to Super Bowl. The right team around him, he's the bridge right now that we're kind of building on. We ain't gonna cut him this year. We already know that. No. We can get rid of him next year, but we may not do that because there may be another year where that rookie sits behind him. But the guys that guys are in the draft right now. If I'm drafting a quarterback in the first round, I can see this scenario where next year Goff's gone and the rookie is taking over. I can see that scenario. Is it likely to happen? Who knows? But just for this year, I don't see it where I don't see where one of these guys that we would draft at number 2 or number 32 will come in and take his job. Because if I'm drafting a quarterback in the first round, I think he's my starter. I don't want a situation like out there in San Francisco where you draft a guy in the first round and he's sitting on the bench. or Green Bay, where you draft a guy to take over to be your new franchise quarterback, and he hadn't played in 3 years, and you're paying him first round money with a 5th-year option, and you're not getting any production out of him. So that's what, I don't see it. I especially at 2 or 32, I just don't see it, because I want a guy. Dan Campbell said it. He wants impact players. We want impact players in the first round. And those first 3 picks, we should be getting 3 starters. And I don't think if you have a quarterback, he's not going to be starting in Detroit anytime soon.
I agree with some of the points that both of you guys said. I do what you just said. Draft a starter with those first 3 picks, and I'm not so sure that any of these quarterbacks will start for us, at least this year. But just a couple things. That $30 million contract is a deal nowadays. You know what I'm saying? It is still a lot. It's definitely a lot to me.
Shit.
But that's a deal nowadays.
With the salary cap going up, it's going to be a steal.
And I mean, just 30 is the old 25 in a way. You know what I'm saying? That's still a ridiculous amount of money to me. But $30 million is a deal compared to some of these other quarterback contracts. I'm gonna ask a question. I'm gonna ask a question.
You do get $50 million.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask a question that you used to ask me, Coach Mike. What if Jared Goff plays well? That sounds funny coming from me, because I choke Jared Goff right now,
man,
if he walked into my house. But what if he does play well?
How did those words taste out your mouth?
What if he do? I don't. I just don't like him. You know what I'm saying? Right now, as the facts change, so can my opinion. He might turn it around and play a little bit better. But he played how he played, and I hated him how I hate him. But but what if he does? That's the question. But and I understand everything that you say, and I agree with a lot of it. But the only thing is we'll probably need a quarterback going forward. We do need a quarterback going forward, but I just don't think we should get it in this draft. Like,
right.
I don't know if you ever had any homies like back in the day. They would just be with a girl just so they could say they with a girl. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you'd be like, yeah, like you ain't got no girlfriend. No, it's like girlfriend. It's like it don't really matter. Like, so if you want to just say we need a quarterback to draft one, yeah, but I'm not so sure. And I'm not saying that none of these quarterbacks can actually turn out to be decent, because I think someone will. I just not for us on this, in this draft, and where we position that. And things like that. And then, maybe we do end up with one of them, and maybe one of them does end up being our future success, our quarterback that leads us to success. You never know.
The only problem, I mean, I don't know if Jared Goff will be the solution. It's kind of hard to really say when your top 3 receivers from camp go out, Perriman gets cut, Williams gets hurt, Cephas gets hurt. So it's really hard to tell if Goff is that guy. But the thing is that really bothers me is this notion that, we can wait till next year and then we can use those picks we're still going to be building that team. Like, we're still going to be in a position where we're building that team. So whether we take a first round quarterback now or we use those picks to jump back up into it, we're still using valuable picks that we need to build this roster.
But you are building. You're building it with a
quarterback. But I'm saying, after this season, everybody's like, our roster will be set. Our roster will not be set after this draft.
Oh, no.
Our roster will be further than it was last year, but it won't be set. So whether you use the picks now or use the picks later, you're still going to be using multiple picks.
But on better talent,
but why would you use a pick on a subpar talent? You can pick a guy who's a proven commodity coming out of school.
I just don't know. Don't know any proven commodities that's coming out in the draft next year. I see 1, maybe 2, and I'm not really confident that if we get in the bidding war that we're gonna win that war. I mean, that's just the history of us. Like, so
you got that new sheriff in town, Mr. Holmes, so that's a little different.
Yeah, true that.
Can't compare different regimes.
True that. That's very true. But I'm just not willing to put all my eggs in one basket, and then we go next year, we strike out. Now we on a hook for $93 million paying a bridge quarterback 93. I'm just not.
But those last 3 years are avoidable. So any of those things you can get rid of them. After this year, you can get rid of him. In the next couple of years. So I don't think we're tied to him for those $90 million. we can get rid of him in the next 2 years, and then it's not going to hurt our pockets.
No, it's not. It's not. But if we strike out on the quarterback and we put all our eggs in this basket next year, then that $10 million next year voidable contract is going to be, we can't do it. And then in 2024, that $5 million is going to be voidable because we're not going to be able to really do it unless we find a guy.
The only thing with that is that, like we talked about earlier before we kind of close this out, is that the voter. I mean, you look at the deal that he's on right now, and I get what you're saying, but that contract is going to be next year when the salary cap goes up. When that TV deal hits, that deal is going to be minuscule because you think at what Aaron Rodgers is like set to make almost $50 million, and those contracts are going to keep going up and up and up. And if we only got him for that amount of money over the next couple of years, we got it, man. We shopping in the blue light special. You know what I'm saying? We in the bargain bin. You know what I'm saying, for a starting quarterback. So I mean,
Honolulu blue light.
Yeah, Honolulu blue light special. But man, hey, you know what I'm saying? If you like the content, man, we're on that march to 4K. So like the video, share the video, comment on the video, man. You know what you got to do, man. Get on the bus, Gus. Get on this train, Wayne, and get on this ride, Clyde. Click the subscribe button if you haven't done so already, and be a part of the Prowl Nation family, man. Now it's time for us to do my favorite thing, man. It's time for us to zip our lip and talk about what you had to say about the last show. It's time for the comments cards, baby. All right, first up, we got rocking in the Michigan jacket. Yo, fellas, love the energy and spirited conversation you brought this Monday for number 2. I would like to see us get the best defensive player available in position. If Hutchinson is an option, sorry, Hamilton, Thibodeau, you out. Yeah, that's the homer right there. He already tell you he rocking in the Michigan jacket.
Right. Friend of the show, or friends of the show, Mike and Chris G says, love the discussion. LL was loving it. With a bunch of holes in our defense, regardless of who they sign as free agents, best defensive player available is a big yes. I agree.
Yeah, me too. Burns Fireman says Kyle Hamilton is only going to be effective as a pass rush on the team that selects him. He won't fully blossom in Detroit with a 30th ranked pass rush. Go on, Fireman. You know what? I just want to say this. I'm not against drafting Kyle Hamilton. It's just that 2. I would draft Kyle Hamilton pick 7 or pick 8 because I think he will be there. He will fall. So yeah, man. I feel what you're saying, man. That's my concern as well.
Man, don't listen to Coach Jones. He wears a I hate Kyle Hamilton tank top. All right, next up we got John Robinson. If we get a terror at the pass rush position in this draft, Will Harris will look good on the field. Man, this whole show is about Coach Jones and his favorite player, Will Harris. What you got, LL?
Friend of the show, Michael Lewis says, look at LL sitting there listening to you two. He's just smiling and nodding his head. Love it. Yeah, that was pretty interesting because I like to hear that because Curt was saying a lot of stuff that I would have said, but I just real quick, I don't understand how you say what you say about Hamilton in draft position, but then say what you say about draft position in drafting a quarterback when one is clearly a need and one ain't necessarily.
Right on. I can dig it. King Guest J says, I can see MTDC's comments being partially coach talk, but I also could see it being that the position of value is not going to be the end all be all for who they choose at 2. Yeah, that's true. Mind you, I do think they should lean more towards an edge rusher at 2. You know what? I don't really know what they're gonna do at 2. Like I said, man, the debate with Curt is, and it's not that I don't want Kyle Hamilton. I just think that Kyle Hamilton should be a later top 10 pick, more like 7 or 8 instead of 2. I'm with Kyle Hamilton. I think he can cover the linebackers on the 3rd down. I think he can be that back end safety with his length to catch those jump balls for when they try to throw those 9 routes, those fly routes, those skinny posts. So I do think he's effective, but just I feel you to put towards the pass rusher at too, man.
Definitely. All right, man. That's comment cards, man. You know what to do. If you gonna answer the family discussion topic earlier in the show, we pick 6 of those things, or just comment on what you want us to talk about, or just have a question for us. Go ahead and drop it in the comment cards, man. We love to hear what you guys think about the show. We don't do fan questions here. We want to hear what you had to say, because we can hear what we want to say all live long day, because we got the microphones and the cameras, so we can talk about what we want to talk about. Talk about what you want to hear on the show. So let us know what you feel in the comment cards. So it's time for what LL says everybody else's favorite topic. It's time for Dessert with your man Curt, brought to you by Delightful Bites, custom cookies and desserts for any occasion. If you like how they look, you'll love how they taste. Go ahead, click the link in the description below to go over to our Facebook page. If you don't do the Facebook thing, go over and email her at delightfulbites18@gmail.com. If you want to just drool all over yourself in your computer screen or your phone, go over and check out the TikTok and Instagram videos as well. Delightful Bites, get your cookie on. Hey, for those who are a fan of the linebacker from the University of Georgia, Nakobe Dean, he only took one pre-draft visit, and that was to the Detroit Lions. Ooh, what does that look like? You know what I'm saying? We know we had my man Calvin Shepard down there running those linebacker drills at the Georgia Pro Day. Is this a precursor for something that's going on? I don't know. And, I know some people are trying to say we're not taking a linebacker in this draft. I think that they're crazy and drunk. I don't know what they're smoking, but I think we're going to take a linebacker, and that is one of the best guys in the draft. If we can't get Devin Lowe, I sure would take a Nakobe Dean. So, hey, if we can do that, and another visit that's going to happen, you know what I'm saying? I know that Coach Mike will be there in his I Hate Him t-shirt. Kyle Hamilton is also slated to visit the Lions later this week on his pre-draft visit.
Kyle Hamilton.
Hey, I
just don't
figured it
like
out.
him right too.
Kurt, I figured it out. I figured it out why he don't like Kyle Hamilton.
What's up?
He'll replace Will Harris.
There it is. There we go. We breaking news right here on the show. LL Brooker, you see it right there. If we draft Kyle Hamilton, Coach Mike
Will
is
Harris
at his wits' ends. He was like, "No, man, don't take my play cousin Will Harris off this roster." No.
Kyle Hamilton get torched in the slot, man.
Oh, man. Will Harris get toasted going to get a soda from the vending machine. All right, so with all that being said, man, let's go ahead and take that walk on over to that wall of fame, baby. On this hump day, we got bronze members. We got my man Midwest Lion, the Latino Leo. We got Justin 10K, Smoking Jeremy B, Sage Roberts, and Shano the Insano on our bronze members wall. And the silver members, we got my man Nomas J. I know he doing his wrap up for the Pistons season right now, so go check him out over there. We got the Batman of the 313. Hopefully he's signing that bat signal so we can go ahead and do Coach Jones a favor and save Will Harris. And then we got Mr. Scotty the Bear, the freshman baguettes and all that, and Henry Wallace. And our gold members, the gold members meeting is today at 3 p.m. Check the community tab for the link for the meeting. We got my man, Mr. Reliable, Michael Huck himself. We got the Tornado, the inspirational Turner C. Burley, Michael Lewis, Randall Flag 606, Mr. North End Ken, rough and raw all the time. The doctor, Dr. Detroit, he is always in. And the lady, Leonore of Douchebagia, to round out our gold members. To become a member of the Wall of Fame, click that join now button in the description and become a member of that Wall of Fame, man. It's time for final thoughts on this hump day. What you got, my man, LL?
Final thoughts. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Have a great day. If y'all not doing anything this Saturday, I'm throwing a 420 party downtown Pontiac. Check out my socials for the details. I keep it short. One thing I will say just about positional value and should we take them here and there, I understand the argument and I agree with a lot of it, but years and years ago, it was a sneaker boutique in Royal Oak. Shout out to Burn Rubber. They had a pair of J's I wanted. The J's came out last time when I was in 11th grade. So this is like 2012. I went on like a Wednesday. I had them. I'm like, I'm going to come back Friday. Called him right before I left the house. Like, hey, you still got them? He said, no. I had the cheese. I should have got them Wednesday. So if you got them and you can get what you want, you can get what you need at a position, get them. Don't worry about waiting later because it may not be there.
All right, that's what's up, man. And you know what? I might tell some of my Jones family about the 420 party that you got going on. As you know, my Jones family is from Pontiac. Well, they're originally from Alabama, but they all moved to Pontiac. So, yeah, man. So
Come on out.
I said, I might meet you up there or something, man. I don't do the 420 like that, but I might come hang with you for a minute. But you know what? The one thing I do want to say is I personally met the new head coach of the Jackson Northwest Mounties yesterday, and his name is none other than Stafford Newsome. Yeah, Stafford Newsome.
Okay.
Yeah. So I met him yesterday, young fella in his early 30s. And he let me know that I'm gonna be retaining my job. So actually I might move to other positions because he's demoted a few guys. So JB. So but it was a good meeting, man. It was a good talking with him, man. He's excited, and all he needs is the support from us, from the school, from the parents, from the community, and we're gonna try and turn this thing around here at Northwest. It's a tough task at hand, but I believe he can do it, man. So shout out to Coach Stafford Newsome.
Okay. All right, man. See, for me, final thoughts for today's show. Man, the draft is less than 2 weeks away, and I can't wait for that thing to get here so we can stop talking draft and start talking about the actual team. But it is fun to speculate and see what's going to happen. So every party that we've mocked or we've kind of looked at, we might not get none of those guys. They might go in a whole other direction. So you got to take that with a grain of salt because at the end of the day, it's Brad Holmes' jobs and it's not ours. So you know what I'm saying. And shout out to my man Smoker Jeremy B. I had to holler at him yesterday, and shout out to my man Luke G over DSA. We dealing with a situation right now. We're gonna handle that thing on Free for All Friday because it's coming up as Friday. Then hey, it's Saturday, Sunday, and that's when the next time you will see us. You won't see us tomorrow, but you could hop in on live on Friday. And we're gonna be doing some things, some crazy things. The Queen of the Prowl Valley be there. Luke G will hop in, and you never know who's gonna stop by. So check us out on Friday for Free for All Friday, and we're gonna have some fun. But it is still Autism Awareness Acceptance Month. I still got my proud autism parent shirt on today. I'm gonna rock these things all month for my man Curtis Steele III, because that's how we do it, man. We accept and love our individuals with autism or just different than us. So in a world you can be anything, please be kind. And a shout out to Coach Jones and his people. I know his wife be working overtime on that cricket, making him his customized Will Harris gear. So with all that being said, man, it is Wednesday hump day, baby. The grind is getting hard. And if you need to, take a deep breath, step back, and then hop back into the grind. But after you eat your dollar conies, because if you up there in that Michigan area getting those dollar conies, the crumbs off your face, finish your drink and get back to work, baby. And whatever you're doing in life, you got to boss up, ball out, and be the best version of you that you can be. For my fellas, LL and Coach Jones, this is Curt Steele, and we will holla at you real soon. We love you, Jim.